Hello, I welcome you once again to this edition of our learning program. And our subject for today is English language. And our topic is narrative or storytelling. Narrative or storytelling. Narrative or storytelling. Good. Now, what are we supposed to achieve at the end of the lesson? At the end of the lesson, you can read to retell a sample story. You can read or retell a sample story or a story you have read or heard before. You can also narrate your own stories based on your understanding of a life experience. Alright, now get ready for the lesson. This is a story, and so you can follow or read along with me. A strange wrestling match. The title of the story is A Strange Wrestling Match. Have you ever seen a wrestling match or heard of one? What happens in a wrestling match? Tell your friend about wrestling and wrestlers. Here is an interesting story about Vijay Singh and how he outsmarted a giant. There was once a wrestler called Vijay Singh, a tall man with broad shoulders and muscular arms. Vijay Singh, people said, was a born wrestler and could beat all other wrestlers in the world. This Pahalwan had one weakness, that is Vijay Singh, boasting, which often got him into uncomfortable situations. One day, he was sitting in the marketplace and drinking glasses of milk, surrounded by several young men. He suddenly expressed a wish to meet a strong giant and teach him a lesson. If you walk alone at night through the troubled desert, you are sure to meet giants, one of his admirers said. Travelers have been robbed and killed. Would you really want to go there? Vijay Singh wondered why he had to boast. Yes, I have heard of the troubled desert, he said. I think it's just a fairy tale. Oh no, said one of his admirers. It's true. This place is 10 miles to west. On the road to Asalma. The landmark is an ugly black rock that looks like the head of a camel. Beyond that, there is nothing but sand and giants. Almost the whole village went that evening to see Vijay Singh off. An old woman came forward and put a small packet in his hands. Vijay Singh started walking into the desert. A sunset of the desert. A few miles before he could reach, he remembered the strange old woman's packet. He found nothing but a lump of salt and an egg. As Vijay Singh stepped into the troubled desert, he heard a voice calling him and telling him that he was his friend not war. At once, Vijay Singh realized it was a giant. He called back, "Where are you, my dear Natwar? It's dark and I cannot see you." It's dark and I cannot see you. Come here and show me the way. Like all good wrestlers, Vijay Singh wanted to size up his enemy's face and declared, "You are just a plain line giant anyway, not to walk all night. I was wanting to meet you." The giant was surprised. Here was this creature claiming he wanted to meet the giant. Now, before we conclude on our lesson, what do you think will happen next? What do you think will happen next? Will Vijay defeat the giant, or is the giant going to kill him? Think about that. We will continue this story, but before that, let's conclude. What have you learned so far? We learned about reading to retell a sample story, and now you are going to narrate your own story before we continue with the adventure of Vijay Sai, the famous wrestler, or the world's best wrestler. We shall continue. Now, your assignment: narrate a story from your own or personal life experience or experiences, meaning the story can be based on your true life stories or what you have learned or done in your daily activities from your life experiences. You can put yourself in the story as the hero or the main character of the story. I know sometimes you watch movies or read stories and you feel like being part of it. That makes it quite interesting. Narrate or write your own story. In our next lesson, we are going to know what happened to the famous wrestler Vijay Sai. Stay safe and bye for now.